Welcome to Ancient Stoic Secrets, the channel where timeless wisdom becomes your quiet strength. If you've ever wondered why some men choose to walk away in silence, not from weakness but from deep clarity, then this video is for you. Because there comes a moment in every man's life when words no longer work, when being present feels like betrayal of self, when explaining, proving, or fixing begins to drain the soul. This isn't about running away, it's about rising up, quietly. Today, we'll explore 12 quiet reasons why the strongest men sometimes leave without a word, not out of bitterness, not to make a scene, but to return to something sacred, their peace, their strength, and themselves. Stay till the end. It might explain something you've felt but never had the words for. 1. Silence is a decision, not a retreat. When a man walks away in silence, it's not because he's defeated. It's because he's decided to stop repeating himself. He's already expressed his love, his effort, his loyalty, not just in words but in actions. But when those signals go unseen or unvalued, silence becomes the final message. This isn't a retreat. It's a decision rooted in dignity. It's the sound of a man choosing peace over performance. He's not running. He's just done explaining why he's worth staying for. Silence becomes his boundary, not because he's afraid, but because he's free. And in that quiet exit, there is strength. Because sometimes the most powerful thing a man can say is nothing. 2. The loudest goodbye is the quiet one. You won't see fireworks when a stoic man leaves. No slamming doors, no final fight. Just distance, deliberate and peaceful. But that quiet exit, it lingers. Because when a man who gave his heart stops showing up, his absence roars louder than anger ever could. He doesn't burn bridges, he just stops crossing them. He doesn't need closure, he becomes it. And in doing so, he teaches this truth. Goodbye doesn't always come with sound. Sometimes it arrives in the quiet moments, when texts go unanswered, when presence fades, when the man you thought would always try simply stops. That silence, it's not emptiness, it's resolution. 3. His peace became more important than her presence. There comes a point where a man stops asking, "Can I keep her?" and starts asking, "Can I keep my peace?" He notices how often his energy drops after conversations, how his joy dims after being around her, and he realizes he's losing himself by trying to hold on to her. So he lets go, not because he stopped caring, but because he started caring about himself. Peace is not a luxury for the stoic man, it's survival. And when someone costs him more peace than they bring, he doesn't negotiate. He exits, not in rage, but in self-respect. Because staying would mean sacrificing the one thing he can't afford to lose again, himself. 4. He wanted connection, not control. 4. He wanted connection, not control. There's a big difference between love and leverage. A stoic man sees it clearly. He wants connection, not possession. He values honesty, not hidden agendas. And when love starts feeling like control, when kindness is used as currency, he senses it. He doesn't fight it. He just leaves it. Because real men don't need puppeteers. They need partnership. He's not afraid of commitment. He's afraid of being caged. So when the relationship becomes a negotiation of freedoms, when control wears the mask of concern, he walks. Not because he's afraid, but because he's awake. And once a man becomes aware of manipulation, he can't unsee it. 5. He gave her his all, until he had nothing left. A stoic man doesn't half love. He pours in, shows up, stays present. Day after day, he gave reassurance, affection, attention. But there came a point when it became one-sided, when the love he gave didn't return. When he realized he was loving on empty. And real men know you can't lead with strength if you're depleted from within. So he stopped. Not to punish, not to make her chase, but to heal, to refill what had been emptied, and to honor the quiet truth that love should be a place where two people pour into each other, not one person pouring endlessly into silence. 6. She confused kindness for weakness. He was patient, he listened, he gave space, he forgave. And for a while, she mistook that grace as softness. She pushed the limits, thinking he'd bend forever. But Stoic men have boundaries built from fire. They don't raise their voice, they raise their standards. And when she crossed one too many lines, he didn't explode. He simply vanished. That's the thing about Stoic masculinity. It's quiet, but final. He doesn't punish you, he protects himself. And once his respect for the situation disappears, so does he. Because true strength doesn't need to shout, it just walks away and doesn't come back. 7. His silence wasn't for her, it was for him. It's easy to assume silence is punishment, that he wants her to wonder. But real silence, the kind that comes from a Stoic man, is not a game. It's healing. It's a quiet space to breathe, to reset, to stop justifying his needs and defending his values. He doesn't owe anyone an explanation for choosing peace. He's not disappearing out of spite. He's retreating to recover. Because the constant explaining, fixing, and giving left him drained. And silence became his safe house, his rebirth, not to change her, but to remember him. 8. He realized her love was conditional. At first, it felt like love, but over time, he started to notice he was only loved when he conformed, only celebrated when he shrank, only accepted when he performed. That's not love. That's control wrapped in compliments. A Stoic man gives freely, but he does not negotiate his soul. So when love became a transaction, he ended the contract. He wants truth, not terms, alignment, not approval. And the moment he realized he was losing his identity to keep her happy, he chose to disappoint her rather than abandon himself. That's how a man returns home, by walking away from what demanded he leave parts of himself behind. 9. He was no longer her emotional backup plan. She never truly chose him. She kept him close, but never close enough. Always halfway in, halfway out, only calling when others failed her. And he noticed. Every time she needed comfort, he showed up. But when he needed connection, she was gone. Eventually, he saw the pattern. He realized he wasn't her person, he was her pause. And Stoic men don't stay where they're merely convenient. He didn't yell, didn't accuse. He just stopped being available. Not to make her chase, but to stop chasing illusions. Because real love isn't part-time, it's presence. And he finally understood. He deserves more than being someone's second option. 10. His masculinity demanded solitude over drama. He doesn't thrive in chaos. He's not fueled by fights, by uncertainty, by emotional fireworks. That's not masculinity. That's instability. A Stoic man is drawn to stillness, to spaces where his nervous system can breathe. So when the relationship became a battlefield, he stopped showing up to war. Not because he's weak, but because peace is his native language. Drama is not a love language. So he withdrew into solitude, into silence. And in that space, he found power. Because real masculinity isn't about being loud. It's about being grounded. And grounded men don't chase storms. They walk away from them. 11. He chose self-respect over begging. There was a moment when he could have begged, pleaded to be seen, to be understood, but he didn't, because begging for love makes a man forget his value. And a Stoic man never forgets. He remembered what he brings, and if that wasn't enough for her, then she was never right for him. Walking away wasn't giving up, it was leveling up. A declaration not of arrogance, but of alignment. He didn't walk away because he stopped caring. He walked away because he started caring about himself more. And in that quiet decision, he reclaimed something priceless, his dignity. 12. He left so he could return to himself. In the end, it was never about her. It was about the man he was becoming, the man he lost while trying to hold on, the man he remembered as he sat in silence. That silence wasn't absence, it was restoration, a sacred space where he could rebuild what love had eroded, not out of spite, but out of necessity. He left not to teach her a lesson, but to teach himself that he was worthy of his own return. When a man walks away quietly, it doesn't mean he's running from love. It means he's running toward wholeness, back to his values, back to his clarity, back to himself. If this video stirred something inside you, even just one line, you're not alone. You are part of a quiet brotherhood. Men who are no longer apologizing for choosing peace. Men who walk away not to cause pain, but to stop tolerating it. If you're on this journey, subscribe to Ancient Stoic Secrets. We're building more than a channel. We're building a community of men who lead with calm, live with depth, and master themselves in silence. Drop a comment. Have you ever walked away in silence? What did you learn about yourself? We read every one, and we grow together, because pain is a compass, and truth, no matter how uncomfortable, is the beginning of power. If you never sit in silence, you'll never hear your own voice, and if you don't know your own voice, you'll follow anyone. Silence is where clarity begins. Sit in it, and you'll start to remember who you are.